Hey, what's up? It's Patrick. It's Rose via Fire. And I pray this message reaches who it needs to reach. So let's talk about people don't take Bible prophecy seriously. I just want to talk about this, bruh. So you would think with like all the signs and all the things that we're seeing going on in the world, you would think that people would take Bible prophecy seriously. With all these crazy events that's going on all around the world, you know what I'm saying? With all these different things happening, you would think that, okay, it's common sense now. People is able to see it now. But don't you know how a lot of people still don't take Bible prophecy seriously, even after seeing all these events that's happening? You wanna know what they doing instead? They coming up with all these different excuses. They like, oh, bad things been happening for a long time. They've been happening since forever. You know what I'm saying? So why is these bad events representing the prophecies? Or why is this bad events representing that the Bible prophecies is here? Why do they represent that when bad things been happening for, for a while now? They've been happening even in the past. I'm like, bruh, these people, all they want to do is just come up with all these excuses and excuses, bro. Does really somebody need to break it down to you and tell you that it's the magnitude of how it's happening? It's it's how rapid it's happening, bro. Do people really need to break it down that it's the intensity, it's the rapidness, it's the magnitude of how these things is happening? Do people really need to sit there and tell you that? Let me tell you something about these people who come up with all these excuses, bro. These be people who just secretly don't want to they don't want to follow God, bro. They don't like God. They don't like the rules that come with following God. So anytime something makes sense and it's biblical, they're going to try to find an excuse. Let me tell you something. How long you think these people be making an excuse for, bro? Some of these people be making excuses on why they cannot follow God for 5 years. Some of them be making excuse on why they can't follow God for 10 years, 20 years. 20 years, bro? You've been making excuses for 20 years on why you cannot follow God. Meanwhile, in that same amount of time, you got other people who have been building their relationship with God. So somebody been building their relationship with God for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Meanwhile, you've been complaining and making excuses for 20 years. So who's smarter for real? The person who been building their relationship with God for 10 years, or the person who's been complaining and making excuses about why they can't follow God for 10 years? Who's smarter for real? At the end of the day, who's smarter for real? Excuses for 10 years or building your relationship with God for 10 years? Which person is smarter for real? Because it looked like to me, no matter what you tell these people, they have an excuse for it. They have a debate for it. They have a debate for everything, bruh. They have an excuse for everything. And you would think, right? Like strange things is happening in the world. Biblical stuff, spiritual stuff is happening in the world. All these events that don't even be making sense. They define the laws of physics and gravity. Things that don't even make sense be happening now. Things that defy logic is happening now. But what people saying? You got majority of people out there, they still making excuses. Now don't get me wrong, there's some people who waking up, they like, okay, cool, this is God, bro. Period, bro. This is God. There is no explaining nonsense. Like, this is God. I know what it is. I know why all this stuff is happening. But then you got other people who act like they don't know what it is. They just making excuses. Oh, this is just bad things been happening for a long time now. They've been happening even in the past. To this magnitude, to this rapidness, all around the world at the same time. At the same time, bro. Simultaneously, rapidly, with a high magnitude and intensity all around the world at the same time, bro. Bro, the signs of the end times is the magnitude of how it's happening, bro. You can't just look at it's happening. You got to look at how is it happening. These people do not even be looking at how the things is happening. They just talking, bro. You got to look at how is this happening, bro. And why is it so rapid? And why is the intensity so much stronger? They not thinking about that. They just trying to make some excuses so they could continue to live their worldly lifestyle. Bro, people would die trying to protect their worldly lifestyle. People would die trying to protect their fairy tales, their worldly lifestyle, their life full of sin. That's why they be making no excuses. It's a self-defense. It's like a defense mechanism. All these excuses is a defense mechanism. They trying to defend their life of sin. They trying to defend their worldly lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. And you would think with all these signs and all these things that we're seeing, you would think it's obvious now that the Bible is real, that the Bible prophecies is real. But it's still a lot of people who don't get it, bro. They just want to make excuses, bro. Some of them think they so smart, bro. They be coming up with all these loopholes and trying to be like, oh, but why would God punish? You know what I'm saying? Like, God cannot punish a city. God cannot punish a city. What are these people talking about, bro? And then you got some of them, they be like, okay, if you say that God is punishing a city, some of them may label it religious psychosis. When you say that God is punishing a city, so God punishing a city is religious psychosis. Is that what you're saying? Because people need to be careful with the things that they say, because you could be blaspheming the Holy Spirit just like that. Because you got to understand something. Some of these people who saying that God is punishing a city, what if the Holy Spirit is telling them to say that? What if God is telling them to say that? So when God rained down fire on Sodom and Gomorrah, and let's say God sent somebody to tell people, hey, God is about to punish the city. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. So by that person saying God is about to punish the city, that's religious psychosis. You see how people play with fire, bro? You see how people will blaspheme the Holy Spirit? That person is not saying that by their own free will. You know what I'm saying? There is people out there who saying God is punishing a certain area, but God is telling them to say that. The Holy Spirit is telling them to say that. So if the Holy Spirit is telling them to say that, and you're talking trash against what the Holy Spirit is saying through these people, you could be blaspheming the Holy Spirit. You could be committing the unforgivable sin. You playing too much, bro. These people be playing too much. I'm trying to tell you. A lot of these people be playing too much. They be just saying all this random stuff. Oh, God, why would God punish a city? God is love. What you mean, bro? God could easily punish a city if wicked people is in the city. Like, it's so many wicked people in the city, God will punish the city immediately, bro. What are these people talking about, bro? People don't know about Sodom and Gomorrah, bro. God will pull up, punish the city immediately, bro. All these wicked people he's seeing in the city, God will punish the city. God been punishing people since Genesis. Man, God been punishing people since Genesis. I'm trying to tell you, let me tell you something, bro. It seems as though the gospel in the world, let's say there's a line that separates the gospel from the world. It's like what the devil has been doing in these times, he's been erasing that line between the gospel and the world. That's why you see worldly people saying, oh, I have God in my life. I have a relationship with God. I keep God first in my life. That's why you see, all these worldly people saying they have God in their life and they live in a lifestyle for God. Meanwhile, they live in a worldly lifestyle. Why is this happening? Because over time, the devil has been erasing the line between the gospel and the world. So now, worldly people think they really have a strong relationship with God. That's why the bare minimum when it comes to God is accepted. A person could just do the bare minimum for God, and people will praise that person. A person could be completely living a worldly lifestyle, and then they mention Jesus one time every 5 years, and people will go crazy. Oh my gosh, you have a strong relationship with God. The line has been blurred, bro. The line between the gospel and the world has been erased almost. So now it's like the worldly lifestyle, they turned it into the gospel now. It's as though the worldly lifestyle is the gospel. Have y'all noticed that, bro? It's like the worldly lifestyle is the gospel now, bro. How is this possible? These churches these churches have not been putting people onto the truth, bro. They've been watering down the truth. The line between the gospel and the world has been erased. Now worldly people is like the new gospel now. Am I lying? Bro, it's like the worldly people is the new gospel now. I'm telling you, bro. And then people wonder why God is pissed off. God is angry with the world. People wicked, bro. People live in wicked lifestyle. And then when people tell them, hey, God is punishing this city because there's so many evil, wicked people in there. And now people be like, hey, man, that's religious psychosis and this and that. Why are they saying that? Because they don't even understand that God punishes people, bro. It's like that line has been erased. Now they starting to say any crazy thing, bro. See what I'm saying? Gotta be careful, bro. You got to be careful, bro. You do not want to just talk. You do not want to just talk things that you don't understand, bro. You know what I'm saying? You do not just want to say that to anybody, bro. You do not want to. Now, I understand there's religious people out there, but at the same time, there is real followers of God out there as well who is also saying that God is punishing these cities. Because it's biblical. God been punishing people since the beginning of time, bro. God been punishing wicked people since the beginning of time, pretty much. It's very biblical, bro. It's very, bro, come on, bro. But, yeah, bro, like, people, they do not take Bible prophecy serious. You would think with all these signs, bro, people would take it serious. Nope. Now, you got some people who are starting to take it serious, but, man, majority of these people, bro, after all these signs, bro, they still don't take the Bible prophecy serious, bro. They still don't get it after all these signs, bro. Bruh, it is what it is, bruh. Peace.